Oh, hello everyone and welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today, and we will start our first event from sessions Get Certified Community Edition Certification Study Group for the Associate Cloud Engineer Certification. Get Certified are weekly sessions over 6 weeks hosted by Google developer groups such as Google Developer Group Ahlen, exactly to help community members prepare for a Google Cloud certification. This program will provide community members the opportunity to instructor-led workshops, support from experts and other fellow developers, access to Google Cloud Boost, additional learning material on certification content and exam questions. Also, this event will support our amazing speaker Saheed, who is Google Developer Expert Cloud and AI Machine Learning. And later he'll introduce himself and another amazing speaker, Santosh, Google Developer Expert. But before we start, it's crucial to mention that it's a very friendly and inclusive space. So let's encourage each other and lift one another up because we promote a warm and respectful environment for everyone. No tolerance for harmful behavior. Please, negative jokes, comments, or behaviors that put others down have no place here. Our events are focused on learning and sharing knowledge. Please maintain a professional and friendly attitude. If something doesn't feel right, let me know during the event in DMs or reach me via email. I'm here to make sure everyone feels comfortable and included. This event session will be recorded and later shared on our YouTube channel, Google Developer Group Ahlen, and our Discord channel. Now I'll share link at our Discord channel in chat. So I can stop sharing so that you can share your screen and continue my talk. And I'll be searching for link to share Discord channel where we will place all necessary resources, homeworks, anything you want.
Um, uh, can you see my screen?
Perfect, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
Thank you. Just a minute. Yeah, so welcome everyone for today's session. And today's session will be mainly about associate cloud engineer. Even before going about the session, just to give a quick introduction and thanks for Anna for introducing myself. I'm a Google developer expert for can people go on mute? Yeah, sorry. Thank you. So I'm a Google developer expert for Google Cloud, and have been using Google Cloud from past four to 5 years. And as part of my engagement, I'm also, helping community to understand more about technologies. When it comes to technology, open source and Google Cloud are my specific specialization. And yeah, today I'm here to help again the community to understand about this certification, which is Google Cloud Associate Cloud Engineer certification. And yeah, so to quickly jump on today's topic, so the certificate that we are going to see is called Associate Cloud Engineer. In short, they call it as ACE. And this certificate is mainly associate level, and that's the reason why you see a name as associate. Google cloud has many other certifications, which we are not going to see in deep, but we are going to mainly focus on this particular certification. And as Anna mentioned, the study group, the whole purpose of this study group is to make sure that we as a team, go through this journey and understand how we can, get along with all the courses and labs that are part of this particular certification. Along with that, we as a mentors, along with me, Said and Anna, we will be helping out you to understand if you are stuck at any place during this certification drive in terms of technical steps or any kind of other aspects, related to dealing with the labs, cloud skill boost labs and other things. We will come there what is cloud skill boost labs or what is the skill badge. But yeah, let's kickstart. So here the main, area that we are focusing here is about the agenda. The main agenda would be about how the course is being split. So in this course you'll learn more about the skills covered in the associate cloud engineering certification exam, because it is necessary for you to understand what are all the domains or the skills that are required in order to in order to complete the ACE certification. So that's the main focus for today. And it is also important to clarify that this course by itself will not prepare you to take the ACE certification exam. As I said, there are multiple other courses and self-paced learning and labs that you should be doing in order to get through the certification program. And we will detail about what things then and how we are going to break it down. So it will start with an introduction wherein you will have some idea about what is Google Cloud and what are all the services related to Google Cloud. Then you will deal with how to set up a cloud solution environment. So when I say how to set up a cloud solution environment, it is like you'll understand how to create a landing zone. In terms of when I say landing zone, whenever you create a resource, let's say compute engine in Google Cloud, there are a lot of things behind the scene it is needed, like VPN, subnet, firewall. There are a lot of things that are needed in order to make a compute engine up and running, like the IP address. So these are the things that comes under setting up cloud solution environments. Then comes planning and configuration for cloud solution. So when we say planning, there are a lot of things that you need to decide even before choosing a right cloud solution. Right, it can be like an application can be deployed in Google Cloud Compute Engine, or it can also be deployed in a Kubernetes environment. But it depends on how you plan, which is the right option. We are This certification anyhow is not going to test you on those areas where you will be asked to design a solution or architect an end-to-end solution. No, this is not going to test you on those lines. It is mainly on the technical stuffs where the certification will test you. And yeah, so like I said, there are other aspects as well, like how you can deploy and implement a cloud solution. When I say deploy, it can be deploying an application, then ensuring successful operations for cloud solutions. So when it comes to successful operation, as you know, any application or any solution that you implement has to be monitored, and in order to maintain it properly, you'll have to have a proper monitoring and observability stack. So in Google Cloud, we have native solutions, which helps you to monitor your workloads, your Google Cloud resources. We have Google Cloud, it is called as Google Cloud Operation Suite. Within Operation Suite, there are multiple, I would say, offerings from Google, which is what you'll be covering, in this particular fourth module. Then the fifth one will be configuring access and security. As I mentioned before, for just to spin up a compute engine, you need to enable a lot of things. So like port, an IP address, then VPN, subnet, and what kind of IP address you want to expose as internal or external. You want any kind of additional security apart from this. Then IAM policy binding. So these are the things that comes under configuring access and security, because uh, configuring access and security is one of the most key aspect of cloud, I would say, because since you are moving to public cloud, most of the people are moving towards public cloud. Security and the guardrails are being one of the important core aspect when it comes to cloud, and that's the area has been tested here in the module 5. So next is like, it is a kind of introductory module where you will be understanding, even before starting the course, what is actually associate cloud engineer's responsibility and what he will be doing. And by understanding that, you will know, like, whatever you are reading throughout the course, you will try to relate that, okay, this is the roles and responsibility of a associate cloud engineer, and that's why you're studying, or that's why you're doing that particular lab. So try to understand the actual roles and responsibility of an associate cloud engineer, and this course will cover in detail about what is that. Just in a nutshell, I could say an associate cloud engineer deploys and secures application and infrastructure, as well as he monitors the operations of multiple projects. As I mentioned, like within Google Cloud or any cloud, you need to have the ability to monitor, and the projects will not be just one or two projects. It will be like multiple project. You will be having one project for development, UAT, prod, or an experimental landing zone. So you'll have to deal with multiple projects. So it becomes important when you go to enterprise level. You need to understand how to monitor. So that is one of the key responsibility of a cloud engineer, along with spinning up the infrastructure or deploying the application. So the individuals has experience working with public clouds or on-premises solutions are the ones which will be the main focus here. So at the end of this certification drive, you will have fair amount of understanding about public cloud. And also, this is a kind of a cert where a particular student or a particular, I would say, IT employee who is having on-prem knowledge, but he is aspiring to know about Google Cloud, or he is aspiring to know about cloud. So this is the right cert, I would say, because there are multiple strategies wherein you migrate to cloud, and one of the major known is lift and shift. And if you know how it works in on-prem, half of the job is done. It is just that you're shifting your infrastructure from on-prem to cloud, and just the way you manage your infrastructure will differ, and that's the only changes. So that's another reason why someone who is working in on-prem, uh, don't think that this is not a right option. This is one of the right option for you to start. There are multiple professional certifications, but for all the professional certification, associate cloud engineer is a base, and it is a mandatory cert, I would say, in my experience. No matter, you can do any professional certification, but associate cloud engineer is one of the key cert that you have to do in order to understand the core of Google Cloud certification. um, yeah, as you go along with this course, you will definitely understand more about the roles and responsibility. I don't want to take much of time here. Yeah, so next, one of the important aspect about this certification is, not just this certification. If you take any of the certification in Google Cloud, they have made sure that they will relate it to ficti- fictional company. When I say fictional company, non-existing company, just they simulated a company name, and they will try to put you into those scenarios where you are into the exact role of associate cloud engineer, and they will be throwing out situations and scenarios where they'll be asking you to assess yourself on a particular situation for this particular fictional company. So that is one good thing. So whenever you hear Symbol Superstore throughout this certification, make sure that it is helping you to act as a associate cloud engineer uh, for a fictional company. So that's one good thing. Then yeah, so Symbol Superstore is like they have multiple use cases, and whatever use cases that they break within this, they will break it such a way that it will fall under all the roles and responsibilities of associate cloud engineer, and they will not go beyond that. So they will not ask you to design a architectural diagram or design a solution. No, they will try to fit into only those areas for an associate cloud engineer. So you can take a look about this. They have given you about what is this application is all about. It's an e-commerce application, and what kind of mode they are working into, and they have multiple components within that. So whenever you go through that, make sure that you first understand the company as a company, what it is, and what are all the functionalities that the company uh, software is providing, and what is their requirement or need. That will help you to understand much better even before you directly going and giving the solutions. Next, a very good or the common question which most of us ask even before doing a certification: why should I become a Google Cloud Certified Associate Cloud Engineer? So there are multiple, you know, reasons that you might need to do this certification, but I would say the one and only reason is cloud is kind of taking out the IT market. Almost most of the organization, I would say like close to 70, I would say like they are trying to move, and I think uh, the industry is growing such a way that um, the migration towards cloud will keep on growing, and it is not going to end, because those are days where companies were thinking about cloud is still not safe, but those days are all gone. Now the cloud is so much robust, and the options or the offerings that cloud provides you helps you to manage your application or infrastructure much more secure. So having said that, um, it's highly impossible to sustain in IT if you are having skill sets, but you're not having skill sets of cloud. And so the reason I'm saying is like if there is a lot of overlaps, let's say if you are a IT admin and you might be doing a lot of things in terms of managing a Linux server, or you might be doing a lot of things, in terms of troubleshooting or monitoring a legacy application in on-prem. So if you are doing these kind of things, there is already few overlap. As I said, it is just the infrastructure change and the solutions that is going to be a different one based on the vendor. So since there is a overlap already, it is an added advantage for you. So it is easy for you to get into these kind of roles. Having said that, people who don't have that background, I would not say that it is not possible. It is still possible for them, but for them it needs more amount of time to understand the holistic view. That's the only difference, but it is one of the cert which I would say, which is really important for you to understand and move towards cloud roles if you are looking for. So, and also, as you know, Google Cloud is kind of almost leading the market. If you take the Gartner's report, um, all the three top players, AWS, Google, Azure, they are leading the I would say the cloud trend. And having said that, it is quite easy for you to capture the knowledge before before getting too late, and the self-paced learning provided by Google in this course is so good that you will get the knowledge from the Google developers or Google engineers themselves have recorded the content about each and every course and lab. And we as a mentor, we help you in case if you're stuck at any stage, and you have all the reading materials in the portal where you can refer it at any point in time. So that becomes an added advantage. There is no burden for you to go and search multiple resource, map multiple resource, and try to find out which is good, which is the right one. So those problems are not there because the resources are ready and curated, self-paced at your own pace. Whenever you finish one module and you are completely understanding that, then you go step by step. So the next one is, what's the difference between these searches? So as I said, Google Cloud, like other vendors, have multiple searches. But why we need multiple searches? So the answer would be, the searches are very specific for a given role. When I say given role, the associate is mainly for the associate, but the professional searches are for specific, I would say, roles. I can give you one example. We have ML cert, which is for machine learning engineers or data science engineers, and we have security certification. If you are mainly focusing on the security roles, cloud security roles, there is one professional certification on Google Cloud Security. And if you are mainly focusing on DevOps, building pipeline, managing and monitoring, implementing SLO, SLI alerts, then there is a Google Cloud Professional DevOps certification. So it becomes important for you to assess which role you are targeting, and on the basis of that, you might be picking up one or the other professional certification once you complete the associate cloud certification. So for now, um, just think that associate certification is something that is really required for any kind of professional certification. And professional certification is next fine grained cert basis on your role. If you are architect, we have, like, Google has a Google Cloud Architect certification. So don't go deep into what kind of certs are there inside professional certification. For now, just concentrate on associate cloud engineer, and definitely GDG Ahlen has lots of certification drives that they do for all the professional certs, which you can join later in the next sprint. And for now, you can focus only on associate cloud certification. So next one is like, understand the scope of the exam. This comes at the end, but I can give you a quick overview. What is the exam guide and how it looks like. The reason why I'm telling you is, like, you need to look at this at the end, but before before that, at least you should have a glance at the beginning. The reason is, you should know how the scores or the, I would say, the marks are divided, or the questions are divided. I would say, rather, to be more precise, how the questions are divided into each and every modules, and that will be given in the exam guide. You can head over to this particular link, and it will have details about all the modules that you need to complete and the exam guide. I'll quickly show the exam guide, followed by a couple of other important and useful information. So knowing the exam guide will give you better understanding whenever you are reading a specific module. If that module is having 40% of weightage, then you come to know that this is kind like very important module, since it has a 40% of weightage. That gives you an extra, you know um, uh, I would say, like, you can put extra effort into that and make sure that you are thorough on that particular module. Definitely you'll have to be thorough on all the modules, but at least, I would say, like, make sure that you are aware of what is the weightage for each module. Let me quickly head over to this link. um, Yeah, so this is the link, and if you see, it says about again about the cert and couple of other informations, like what is actually the ability or the things that they'll be testing, which we have already seen. Apart from that, this is something really important. It is like if you're taking for the first time, then it is a standard exam. If you are renewing it, it is different. I assume most of us are standard exam takers. So it will be 2 hours exam, and you have an exam guide, and you will be having multiple questions, with multi-choice as well as multi-select questions, 50 to 60. They support in multiple languages, and once you complete, it is valid for 3 years. And exam can be taken in two mode, either online proctored or on-site proctored, on the basis of how much support you have at your current working or the place that you can take the exam. So apart from that, see, there's no prerequisites. So that's the reason why this is a entry level cert. And another thing is like if you are doing this, you can easily understand many things that will help you to do the professional search as well. So next, going to the exam guide. So the whole exam is divided into around 5 modules. Yeah, I think 5 sections. I'm sorry, 4 sections. Yeah, so if you see here, each and every section has a weightage. So the first section, which is setting up a cloud solution environment, has around 23 percentage of weightage for the whole exam question. And these are the things that they will be testing um, whenever you are seeing the questions underneath this particular section. It will be around these areas, like how to enable APIs within the project. If you want to work with any of the Google Cloud offerings, you need to enable the API of that particular service. That is the first and foremost thing that you will be doing in Google Cloud Console. So those are the things that they're testing. And um, setting up cloud networking. Initially, I was saying about we need, VPC, subnet, and within VPC there are multiple types of VPCs. So they will take you through all those things, and you need load balancers to, load balance your traffic. So those kind of networking solutions, how you can set up. Then billing. Definitely the section details about everything. I'm just taking a glimpse of it. And if you see the second section carries around 30% of the weightage. Likewise, it goes on. So what you do is like you just take a look, understand, and don't spend much time initially here itself, because you may not understand this without going through the course. So just take a look at it. And once you finish the course, then before giving exam is where you spend more amount of time here, because it's the time that you're going to test yourself, and you need to make sure that you're not missing any of them. So that is when you need to take much of time here and understand slowly each and everything. And whenever you're doing this course, make sure that your thinking and your approach is aligned to each section, because the fictional company which they will be presenting will be targeting these sections, and you need to make sure of understanding, saying that okay, this is part of monitoring, and this question is part of monitoring, and the use case that they have thrown for the fictional company will be will be similar to monitoring if they are testing on those areas. So that's why this exam guide will also be important whenever you are taking the course throughout your journey for this certification. So having said this, um, my colleague Saheed will also cover few of important things, and at the end we will be also showing you how to log into the Cloud Skill Boost portal, and how to start your journey.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So just like the way my colleagues have said it all, we had some inputs and to start with resources to support your certification journey. So during this process, you will not do it alone. There are some resources that are there for you to use, and we will be supporting you, especially the tips, the guideline on how you are going to be using your GCP and the cloud scale both. If I anytime I say GCP, I mean Google Cloud Platform. So to the next. So yeah, we have a different plan for the journey. We have some courses, we have skill badges in this learning platform. So here we can see we have the Google Cloud Fundamental Code Infrastructure. So these are the courses, just the way my colleagues have shared with you earlier. We have all these courses on the Google Skill Boot that you can go through it and learn. And we have this course we are expected to complete it within a day, but nevertheless, this is a 6 weeks program. You can do it at your own pace and give a report on Discord. And also, we have the architecting with Google Cloud Compute Engine. So here we discuss. They have sub courses here, and we have some lab whereby you can able to practice on how to work with your compute engine, how you can able to do some other core services and scale and automation, which are the basic features as a cloud engineer. So the other part where we have another Kubernetes, where you get started with Google Kubernetes engine. So this will show you how you can deploy on Kubernetes on Google Cloud, and how you can manage your existing Kubernetes services. So if you decide to migrate your Kubernetes engine, your Kubernetes services to Google Cloud. Also, we have on the second day here, we have the monitoring, because it's very important as a cloud engineer. You have to have idea of what is going on on your cloud, Google Cloud Platform, and to observe. So this logging and observation is a course on its own. You can how you set up. At times there are maybe you're a developer, you have a developer, you have 3 or 4 guys working on a project, and you are the cloud engineer. You have to configure it so that any changes in the application, you will be able to get the notification, you will be able to monitor it, even if you are not on the workspace. So the last one here, we have the getting started with Terraform. So these are tools for deployment. So you just have to know how to use it with Google Cloud. So if you can calculate this, we have 1 day, 3 days, 1 day, 2 days. So almost we have over 8 days to do this. But you can't do it a full day, but it's something you can be practiced once in a while. So here we have 4 hours. This key badge. So one thing now, after this presentation, I will show you how you can go there and set up your account and do all the basic things. So yeah, you are expected to spend 4 hours on implementing load balancing on Compute Engine. So the load balancing, don't worry about any times we are using. We are going to explain that, and you too, you can able to understand it anytime you are watching the tutorial. So set up an app dev environment on Google's cloud. So let's say you are setting up your project, this course is going to take you through. And one nice thing about Google is that one nice thing about the skill cloud boost is that anytime you are working and you are able to do some make some achievement and completion, there will be a badge for you that you can see and you can share with your colleagues. So to just like set of motivation for you. So we have developed your Google Cloud Network. So one nice thing, one basic thing about Google Cloud is the networking part. So for security, you can route it. Maybe you are working in private or in public. You don't want third party to have access to your networking tools. You can configure it as a cloud engineer. So building infrastructure. So this tools, Terraform, is basically for deployment of your projects on Google Cloud. So instead of you go to console every time and do things, you can just use Terraform to deploy using the right IAM access management. So yeah, I will not go into this right now. Try to. So okay, let me go through this, and after we go and come back, we can able to discuss this. So you have a project using. So these are some sample questions you will be able to deal with. So anytime you are before you go to before you sit for the exam, you have to make sure you do some practice because the associate certification is somehow trickish if you don't really understand the basic uh, tools and what your decision have to be right. Just like you are making decision for a company, so the cloud engineer, you are just like a representative. You have to consider the billing, you have to consider the assets, you have to consider the infrastructure, choosing the right infrastructure for your company and for your project. So these are the courses. So if I talk about the BigQuery, you may not have heard about BigQuery before. So don't worry, we will explain it by the end of this uh, certification journey. So this BigQuery, so you have a project using BigQuery, you want to list all. So this is about the access. I will not go to it in details, but after we get to this, maybe I will refer to this and we can go through to it together. So moving here, we have some documentation. So whenever you are preparing, my colleagues have shared you how you can use the study guide. So there are some documentation Google provided so that anytime you are doing your course, you have to check because time to time Google are updating their documentation. So it is best for you as a cloud engineer to come and check and see the latest on their platform. So this will help you. You will not be working with outdated documentation. So that's on that. And to create your study plan, we able to there are other stuff like creating some question after each course you'll be given some little quiz to work with and to understand what you have learned so far and also to locate your resources you'll be given a workbook a resources a PDF you can download it and see what you are working with and workbook too. Okay, so this workbook here they break down how you step by step on how you can able to achieve your goal to be a cloud engineer. So yeah, let me take you through. Are you with me? So um, are you there? Okay. So yeah, before we get started, I don't know maybe everybody have access to this. So let me copy it and share it to you on the chat. So we have this platform, we call it Cloud Scale Boot, Google. So this, if you are a first-time users, you are expected to create an account. So this is the platform you will be doing some practice. So let me log out. Let me look for a new account. So okay, I am expecting if you're able to click on this link I sent to the group, you can able to access this. So uh, as a as a as a beginners, firstly you have to understand how this platform works. So you can see here we have a part. If you click on this part, we have different different professional course and associate course. So here I'm looking for cloud associate cloud engineer. So what I will do is just have to search for it or just scroll down to look for associate cloud engineer. Um, so you can see we have it here, associate cloud engineer. So this is the learning path for you to in order to able to get. So if I click on this, mind you, if you're able to access this, this does not mean that only this is enough for your certification because they have to do other stuff like the documentation I've talked about earlier and the working scope plan like study guide that my colleague with you, you are expected to go through this. So to start this journey, you can see we have on this learning path, we have different courses. So this, you are expected to be done with this. So what I do, let me share you some tips. What I do most of the time is that it's not compulsory you complete it once on a seat. So maybe you select maybe 1 hour in a day or 2 hours in a day to be doing this every day. And this will really help because you will not find it easy to forget what you learned yesterday. So what I do is I do it every day consistently, and I'm familiar with how everything works. So if you want to get started, you can start the learning part. So if you start the learning part, it's it will take you to this. But going back, you can see it's still the same. If I click on this, start labs. So we have different options here. We have where you can practice some labs. So the labs is just like a real environment, but in an experiment environment, real Google Cloud environment, but you'll be using it for an experiment. So here we have different Thor on Google Cloud and some lab. So this, if you are a beginner, this is what you are expected to go through. And if you after this, you have to move to this, and control. If I start in lab, in between the journey, there are some situations whereby you have to watch a video. So model review, there are some video you have to watch. So this is very simple. You can see you are expect to watch some videos. We have workbook whereby there are some material, some documentation you are expected to learn about. You can download, read about it, and how you can able to use all those tools. So we have in other scenario we have something like a quiz. I'm looking for it. Okay, knowledge check. So knowledge check is more of like a quiz. So you can start a quiz and test what you have learned. So they have some requirement. You are expected to pass some certain percentage before you will be like a pass mark. So and you can say as I'm clicking on there's a check, so it's marking your progress. You can say I have 2% progress. So going back, you have to create an account. So most of the time you can use your personal email. Like I prefer using Google, sign with my Google, but you can create an account using your normal information to create if you are not using Google Gmail. So sign in with Google. I pick my email, continue. I don't know if everybody is, are you following along? Please, are you with me? So can you thumb up so that I will know if we are in line with like the way I'm from? Maybe I'm too fast. So, okay. So, after I sign up for the first time, I click, let me copy this part so that we can be in the same. Okay, so this is the part for the Google Cloud Engineer. So I'm expected to set up my date of birth. So, yeah. So I'm submitting this. So I'm setting up my account. So so I'm setting up all set. So going back, so we have uh, Google Cloud prepare for associate cloud engineer. So I'm continuing this. If I click on this, yeah. So before that, let me take you through how you are going to be familiar with Google Cloud Essential. So there are some certain guideline on how to get started with Google Cloud Skiboot. So it's a learning platform on how to use it. So firstly, I will and okay, let me go back. Hold on. So if you're a first time users, let me search for dashboard. You can see Google Cloud Essential. This is the basic course. If you're a first time, I would advise you to take this course on, hold on. No, okay. Let me search essential. There is essentials, sorry, essential Google Cloud. So this Is the course like she will guide you on how to be assessing when anytime you are doing your course and you want to do your lab. This will really help you to have idea about how it works. So if I click on this, turn on Google Cloud. So you can see I've already signed up here. This is my account and I have a lab. So to start with a lab as a first time users, you can see a start lab button. Are you with me? Scroll it down. So what I do is most of the time I have to understand what I'm trying to do on this lab. It on Google Cloud Lab. Scrolling down, I have to read all through this, but because of time, I'm not able to go through this. So what we are doing that they introduce what is Google Cloud Service is and what is Google Cloud Skill Boot is. So here we have the learning parts, how you build in demand costs and skills and the introduction. So the first task here is to access the lab console. So Google Cloud Console, where you can able to be working as a cloud engineer, deploying, monitoring. We call it Cloud Console. So we have how you can view the project, and we have the taxonomy review and the model access. And number four, enable an API. Earlier, my colleague talked about how you can enable anything you are doing on Google Cloud, you have to enable the services because if you enable any services, you are expected to be paying for that. So let's say you are enable for storage, any services you are using under storage, you have to be paying for that. And Google Cloud, nice thing is very the budget is budget friendly, meaning you are not going to charge for what you are not using. So it's pay as you go. So it's not like unlike normal convention whereby you are hosting your website on maybe GoDaddy or any uh, public hosting company whereby you have to be paying yearly. So one nice thing about Google Cloud is just pay for the service you are using. So we have tags of this enable API and the end one is last one, tax 5 is end your lab. Can you able to see my screen? Can you able to see hope it's not too tiny? Yeah. Are you there? Yeah, can someone mute and confirm to me if everything's fine?
We can hear you everything okay, and we can see the screen, so everything is perfect.
Okay. So here you can see here we have so right hand side here you have the percentage. So we have 100 percentage here. So if you are doing your progress, you will be given the check. So if you are doing it and you miss some steps, this may not be complete to 100%. So to get started, the first thing you expect to do to start the lab. But before you start the lab, you expect to have some credit. So if you don't have the credit, you are clicking this and buy credit or subscription. So click on buy or subscription. But for this event, thanks to Google, we have been given some certain credits to use for the labs. So I'm clicking select. Are you with me? Clicking select. So okay. So I'm have to sign up again. So access. So this is giving us a default 35 free credits every month. So all you have to do is just set up. So this is a good platform. You don't have to really pay if you are consistent with it. So you just have to pick because you're a beginner. You have to 0 to 5 years, and you have to pick your turn. So I have to pick my location. So you too, you can do the same. Are you with me? Are you getting it right? So you can just be dropping your question in the chat so we can attend to it after this section. So I want to be a cloud. So you can see we have different role here, but I'm going for cloud engineer. So let's look for cloud engineer. So okay. So right now we don't have cloud engineer here, but I can. Oh, DevOps engineer. No. I can make like I just choose developer, but I expect it should be like a cloud engineer. Yeah, I can just go for cloud engineer. So let's say for instance you are just this does not really matter on your on your class, on your learning progress, but just for them to know the point of So name arts. So I can just say cloud certification program. So I can, if you want to be getting updates of information about any change in cloud platform, any news and program announcements, I can enable this and join. So let's wait. So you have got 35 free credits innovators. So start learning. So if you want to be using the paid version, you can pay $29 per month, or if you want to be buying credits, so if you want to buy credits, you can the organizer can share you the credits. I don't know, Miss Hannah, are you there? Can for the people that don't have the access to, or maybe they have stored their $35 here, they can come here and just redeem their credits and purchase. So, but yeah, we just stick to this for now and go back to the part dashboard. So Google Cloud Extension, I click on it. So for people that are missing, let me paste it again so that you can be able to use that. So coming here, so the first thing I have to do, I have to understand, sorry, first thing I have to do to all on Google Cloud is I have to learn and read about this. So the overview will discuss about Google Cloud Scale Boost. So this interface. Okay, let me proceed. So if click on this, you can see some guideline on how to use. So here you can see there's a timer here. So this is a countdown. So you expect to finish this lab within 45 minutes. So this is hours, this is minutes, and this is a second. So this is a timer. Anytime I click on start labs, there will be a countdown. So if I click on start labs, I'm expected to see it changes. So not a robot. Okay. So yeah, so now what's happening here, you can see there is this time start counting. So what happened actually is that Google set up a virtual environment for you that you can be really practice your skill. I mean, anything you are learning. So here you can see we have a Google console. So if I click on this, so one thing I will advise you as a beginners or as anyone that is using console, like try and open it in a private environment. I mean, private window. So how you can do it, you can right click and pick a private incognito windows, click on it, and you're able to see something like this. So yeah, so to avoid charging you because the mistake, if you open it on your tab, you may mistakenly be using your personal console environment and they will be charging you, so you have to pay. So it's advisable for you to open it in a private environment. So anytime you are done with this lab, anytime you end, you can able to close this and it will not have any effect on your personal account. So here we have the username, which stands like more of like email. I copy this and I paste, and so you can see and click next. And here we have the password, so they provide us the password. So here I click on the password and paste it here and save next. So yeah, so we have to read through this, the agreement of terms and conditions. So you have to notice you are not expected to use this for your own personal project because this is just a temporary account set up for you by Google to use Google Cloud. So after this time expired, this will not be valid again. So you are not setting up your project or your real life project on this platform. So it's just for the learning purpose. And coming back here, so let me get started. After I get through the overview, so I will be the objective of this course to access the console with specific credentials. So the specific credentials are this username and password, and to view the various Google Cloud projects and to navigate the closed navigation menu, the basic roles. So one nice thing and one major thing why the Google Cloud or any cloud platform have special is the access management. So which we are going to go through we are going to go through it during this program. So also the enable of API labs and These are the objective of this course. So the prerequisite is get started with Google Cloud Shell, and so you can go through this too at your own leisure time. So if I click on this, so this is environment on how to set up your because we are following the journey of Google Cloud Engineer, so that's why we are starting with this. So this is how you can start your Google Console, but I'm going to take everything here in this our current course and how you can create your virtual machine. So because we have not discussed anything about virtual machine, so I don't want us to dive there and to not get us confused. So here with the fundamental, we talk about how to create a virtual machine. So to access, task one to access. So start lab, which is the button I clicked on. We have the credit. And here you can see here we have no cost. So there are some labs you have to have like one credit. If you can remember earlier we talked about giving 35 credit based on our registration. It was given by Google Cloud Skill Boots. So here we have free. There are some they are going to charge you 5 credits. I will show you after this, and so that you can see. So most of the time, if you don't have the credits, you will not able to access the labs. So here we have time, which is the countdown. We have the countdown here. Anytime you reach 00, it will automatically close your lab and end your lab for you. So you expect to be done before this, and of course, this time is enough for you to complete your lab. So you may not spend up to that time. And your score, which is right hand side, will show you the progress. So they want you to grant IAM role, enable diagonal flow. So all these are the tasks we are expect to be complete. So until you get to the 100% before you know that you successfully complete this lab. And so text, we have test your understanding. Test your understanding, they are really not uh, important in your lab progress, but you are expect to tell your skill set if you understand your uh, the environment you are working with. So there are some questions they will be asking you. So this, and you can see they are testing your understanding. Answer the following question, and this build a temporary environment in Google Lab. So this start, I can see start button uh, is build temporary environment. You can see immediately I click on this start button, it's giving me this environment. So yeah, so this is my console environment. Let me agree with terms. And I don't need to do this because this is temporary email. So I just have to agree and continue. So this is my environment. This is my Google Cloud environment where you'll be deploying to all sorts of things. So and you can see we have a lot of infrastructure here, services here you can make use of. But focus on this. So start lab. Okay, I get it right. So because immediately I click on this start button, I was able to get this environment. So that is the building temporary environment. So after this countdown has expired, this environment will not be available anymore for me to use. So the second one says when the timer reaches 00, you will lose access to the temporary environment, which is true. So this is counting that immediately you get to 00, it will definitely log you out and this will not be available for you to use, which is true. Let's say, yeah. So here we have some lab app tracking, which score your complement on and on lab activities. So as I've said earlier, this is like a progress check. So you have to check your progress, and which is true. So if you, there are some situation whereby you make the mistake and maybe you mistakenly deploy or you mistakenly miss the steps, so you don't have any cause of alarm. If you can't try it again, you can end your lab and start again all afresh. So you don't have to panic if you make a mistake. Just end your lab and start again. So make sure you understand what you are trying to do. And yeah. So in order to receive completion credit for the lab that abstract, you must complete the required hands-on lab. Yes. So here, what they are trying to say is that this, before you can able to agree like, okay, you have done this lab, you must complete all these tasks. You can see we have tasks, different tasks. So you are expected to complete it before you can say uh, you are done. So access the console. So just like what I've explained earlier, to access the console, you are expected to start the lab, click the button. You will see something like this. You can say there are almost the same, the username, the password. So you'll be seeing this on the counter. So you have the project ID. So coming to my environment, you can see and we have a project. So this is the project we have currently. So if you do the same thing, click on the start lab, you can able to see an environment. So this is our project, and if you can see these are almost the same. They are the same. Let me see if I can. Uh, you can see they are the same. They are the same project IDs, meaning we are in the right, we are doing something right. So this is the same project name, so the project ID. So meaning we have already set up we have access to our console. So we have different means of accessing our Google environment, Google console. The basic one is this, which uses Google console. So you can see this just like a normal web UI. We have terminal, whereby you can click this cloud shell or CLI, whereby you can set it up and be accessing your Google. You can see the top right, it's a cloud shell. So this this give access to your console. So there are some things you have to do it, just be clicking, walking around. As a beginner, I would advise you to go for this so that you can able to understand, you will not get confused. But if you have been into it for long, and you can be using this, because this make your work fast. Instead of you to be changing your screen, you can just be doing everything on the terminal. So going back, so we have the username and password, we have the project ID, which is an organized entity for your project. So this ID is what you use to identify your project for on Google Cloud Platform. So after we sign in, which we have done, we sign in with our username and password provided, and we're able to click next, understand the privacy, which I clicked on, and welcome to agree to terms and conditions, terms of services, and click and access the dashboard. So the access the cloud console with the student credentials. So to test our understanding, what field is not found in the left plane? I can see this is my left side. So what is missing? We have project ID, yes. We have password, yes. Open Google Cloud, we have this. The only thing we are not having is this side is system admin. You can see it's straightforward. So click on this, yeah. So that's how simple it is. So if you are able to follow and able to step by step, you'll be able to get the process. So the username in the left plane, which resemble something like this, students, is a cloud IAM identity. Yeah, so this is the username, so it's identity we are using to access our platform. So this we can say yes, true. So this is an username we are using to identify ourselves on this Google Cloud, student Google Cloud account. So now, few tasks to fill the project in the Google console. So, as I've said earlier, you can have click on this to click. You can see the project. So, if you are running your own personal project or you are working for a company, you can create a new project. So, the new project is just like as a cloud engineer, you have to make sure your project is more organized. So same too for user accessibility. So that is why we have this IAM. So if you are using this platform, you are expect to make sure you structure your project. You have to plan before you start your project. It's not like you just jump onto the platform and start using it. Although if you are learning, you can play around it, but if you are starting a client project or starting your own project, you have to plan and how you want to structure your project. Maybe you have different departments, you have to structure it. We are going to get there very soon. So here for your project, you can see we have this environment whereby we have the project name, we have project number, we have project ID. So um, coming back here, we have project name, fill on the project. If you click on this, you can fill out your project, click on all, you can see organization, resources, lab, so you can see how it come down. Just like this, you can create a new organization. So this is your organization on its own, and any project will be under your organization. So that is the structure of how you set up your project. So going forward, we have So there are some basic information they are trying to share here. So we have QLab resources, which if you click on here, we have QLab resources. And this is more of like where we are. They have this contain the free data set, machine learning images. So these are the resources. If I'm talking about resources, so let me click on this. This, if I set up a one cloud computing, is a resources on its own. So, and if you notice, this resources is under my cloud project. So anything I'm doing for this, any resources I'm setting up will be under my project. So if I click on database, create on database, SQL is a resources on its own. So it will be under my project. So anything I'm setting up will be under my project. So what they are trying to tell us here is how we can able to be managing our project and how we're going to manage our environment for the Google Cloud. So here we have an entity organization for anything you build with Google Cloud. So the entity we use will be Google Cloud Project. So this is a resources, username, password, they are not relevant. Google Cloud Project. So anything you are creating, organizing should be under your project. So yeah, coming here, we have QLab resources shared read only with all QLab users, which means they cannot delete or modify it. So QLab resources, if you make it as a read only, meaning they can't delete it, they can't modify. So just like we are protecting, you may have, let's say for instance, you may have backend on your project, you have front end on in your organization. You can create an account for them. Maybe you can able to track the information going on the back end, and you can't give them the full access to the project. So which is true. Yeah. So yeah, we have the Q resources, the project where you run all your lab steps. So Q lab resources is the project. So it's not a project actually, because resources is just like a services. I don't know. Yeah, just like a service cloud run. We have VPN, VPC network. We have monitoring. So all the resources is the project where you run all of your lab steps. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's false because QLab resources is like a just like a services under a project. So you can we are not running. We run all our resources under a project, not like resources is running under the project here. So yeah, we have a navigation. So I'm in task two. I've already completed task one to task two now. I have sorry. Okay, done this. Tax three, sorry. So here we have this navigation menu. So at times, if you are using mobile phone or you are using other platform, you may not be able to see this. So if you want to access any other services, we have something like navigation menu. Click on this. You can see all other services here. Can you see we have billing, IAM, which is used for management of access. If you want to create access for any of your staff or any of your members, we have marketplace. Marketplace is where you use third-party services like Google Map, iOS, anything you want, like third party, you can give Google let you have access to it. So meaning, let's say for instance, you have your project running already, you can just set up, you can just have access to it. Maybe you are working with the third services. If you check the market space, you still have same access to it. Now we have an API services whereby you expect to enable all the service here before you start using it. You expect to enable it. So we have Vertex AI, we have computing, we have Kubernetes. So during these services, during this section, during this program, we are going to go through one by one. So coming back here, we have the review and modify permission. So here we are talking about IAM. So you can see in addition where we have cloud identity and access management. So we have been talking about IAM. So this is the full meaning, identity access management. So this we have to identify and give the access. So these are the tools that is responsible for how you are going to be sharing access to uh, your users, I mean random people, sorry, I mean your developer, people you are working with, people to have access to your project. So we have navigation menu. On the navigation menu, click on IAM. So come here, sorry, come here, or click on this dashboard. So click on this navigation menu, you can see, click on it, and you can see IAM services, and we are expected to click on that. So click on it. So a page, this open a page that contains the list of user permission and what granted to a specific account. So come here, you can see we have so far we have the number of people that have access to this, and we have different. You can see we have different sidebar, another sidebar based on particular to this IAM, and we have the fee by principal, fee by role. So coming back here, we have the same screenshot. Yeah. So the principal column display this, your match, your username you sign with. So and if you see this is my principal, and we have the username I used, which is this. So and they are trying to point out something here. So we have the following table put definition from role. So I said earlier, my colleagues when I was doing my presentation about documentation, Google will share you the documentation where you will read more and understand how it works. But for the sake of this event, I will just explain really means, what it really means. So this IAM permission, so the rules, how you come there and learn more to understand how it works, but that's not where we are going. So yeah, they have different roles. So we have roles as a viewers. So we have roles slash viewers, whereby the arrow is the permission for read only. They do not affect any state such as viewing, but okay, they have the permission for read only action that does not affect states such as view. So they have access only you are if you are, let's say you are giving to the manager or the executive of your company, you can just give them access to view access alone, so they cannot able to maybe mistakenly delete access to your resources. So this existing, they cannot modify any existing resources, just to view what is going on. They can't create, they can't delete. We have editor role, whereby they have the access, they have all the view permission, and at the same time, they can able to modify. So they can create, they can change the state, they can create, they can delete, they can modify any resources you are working with. So, and the last one is the role, whereby you have all the editor permission and editor permission, and also they can manage roles. So the difference between owner and editor is that owners can create a role, you can create another you can create another owner, you can create another editor, you can create another viewers. But the editor can't do that, just do the manage the resources. And you can see what Google is trying to do here is that they are trying to limit everyone individual access based on how they expect to. So as an owner, you have full access to your infrastructure, including the billing. So this billing is very important because that is where you can see how much you are spending on your infrastructure. So as an editor, you can create, modify, delete. However, you cannot add or delete the members. So here we have the grant and IAM role. So if you want to create access for someone, you are just have to, in this section, you are make a simple update to grant principal the viewer role. What am I expected to click on this, which I've earlier, IAM. In the add principal section, enter the identify this username for principal. From the section row, click on draw. So what they are talking about is this particular email. I'm expected to select the row, assign the viewer. So yeah, click on this so I can edit. So um drop down assign rows. You can see these rows. So you can configure it and change the access to viewer. So we are successfully done. So this you can change access of your user. So one nice thing about IAM is as a cloud engineer, you are advised to give minimum access to your users. So you are not expected like someone you just add in and you give him an editor role whereby the person you don't even know you don't really understand the role of the person. Give him the minimum access and just save. So here we have it already initially. We have the assign role, which is the viewers. So viewers, you can do all your access. And here we move to the next part, whereby let me check. Oh, grant second account students. Hold on. Okay. So this how. So I think I have to copy this. Okay, hold on. So here viewers. So viewers. So I remove it from editor. I'm changing to the viewer. So yeah, let me say again. Hold on. Okay. So so okay. So what they are trying to do here is like I should create. They are giving me another account which is not equivalent to this, which is not the same as this. So I have to give the access to this account as the viewers access. So I click role, I select this email address and I assign it as a viewers. So yeah, this we want to give this particular student an access but as a viewer role. So let me click on save. So yeah, so let me refer this to okay. So yeah, let me check it again. So yeah, so now I was able to add new users. So instead of just using maybe in your own scenario, in your own use case, you can just put your own email address, maybe your staff or the company email address, just grant access, put your email address and put aside the role. So you can just pick the role and sign it and save. So that is to give that person a role in your company or your organization or your project. So moving to our understanding. So here you have over quick access to purpose and also assign its offering. So which is navigation. So you can see if I click on this navigation menu, I was able to access all the services on my project. So yeah. So based on basic rules, set project level through unless specified control the access to all services. So yeah, basic rows, set rows. So this you can see when I was trying to create this, we have um, we have different we have something we call basic, we have custom use. These basic rows have the basic for I've explained earlier, editor, owner, and viewers. So that's the question is asking here. So control access management, true. So here provide all viewer permission plus permissions for action that modify. So that is the editor role. So you said provide viewer viewer permission plus permission for the action that modify the state and change the existing. So this, yeah. So now the final part, which is tax form. So I can see here something has happened here. We have the status have changed to 50 because out of successfully done one, which is grant and IAM role. So there you'll be monitored if you are making some progress. And if you have any issue and maybe you have passed this and you are not saying this, you have to make sure that you complete your task before moving to the next uh, task. So here we are given like enable and API services. So to enable an API services, so what is API? API is an application program interface. So it allows you to connect the core direct access from Google Cloud API. So This give us access to the our cloud API services. So to get started, I have to go back, click on this. So let me cancel this. So click on this and click on API and services. Let me look for API and services, which is this. Click on it. Okay, so I've clicked on successfully and say click on library. Library, okay, yeah. So this is the library API library. There I was asked to search for dialog flow. Let me copy it and search for it. So this is the diagonal flow. So one thing about it is I want you have to understand how the next instruction you are not expected to just be so that you will not make a mistake. So you say click on diagonal flow API. I click on this. So okay. So the next step said so what's this diagonal flow API? The diagonal API allow you to build a rich conversation application for Google, e.g. for Google Assistant, without having understand online machine learning. So what we do, we are trying to enable the diagonal flow, and to do that, as they ask us to enable, you can see click enable. So click on the enable button, and coming back here, we have seen something look like this. Uh, so we have to wait for some minute to see if it works. Okay, so we have it set. So we have it enabled already. And click try it again. Try it API. So let me search for it again. So you can see we have this again. So if you want to go check the documentation, we are clicking trying this API, a new browser way for the documentation. So at times, to know how to use it, you can have to click on this and you are able to get the documentation and start. But this is not where we are going. Our major goal here is to enable our API. So if you need any services on Google Cloud platform, you are expected to enable it first. So let me check. So yeah, so because it's successful, if I try to click on this earlier, it may not work, and that's we have done with this. So moving forward to test our understanding. So test your understanding. I say when you start a lab, you need to enable the API in your project to start working with. So this is first. Why? Because when we start our lab, we didn't enable API before we start anything. If the diagonal flow is because we want to use an API service before we enable it. So if I click on this, it should be first. So starting your lab, you are not required to enable an API until maybe you need the services from this side before you can enable the API. You can say, if I click on Google Scripts, Google SQL, okay, you are not, okay, sorry. So one thing about this I mean, these people, they are not enable you to have access. So because we are focusing on what's the diagonal flow. That's the major way we can have access. So we have issue with insufficient permission. So if you are trying to do any other access and you are not given the access to, you'll be seeing this type of error. So going back, so let us proceed. So yeah, we have complete our task. So you can see here we are end your lab. So and give them the rating. So this is the step by step on how you can be using your lab. So this may be different from our next lab, but all will be the same steps. You can go to your tasks and enable your services accordingly to the instruction. And you can say here we have 100 over 100. Why? Because I'm able to grant IAM role and enable the diagonal flow. So that is it. So proper way to complete, I can just end my lab. So I can say end labs, click on it. So I can give them likes, 5 star. I can give, if you have any reports, any feedback for them, you can just leave like nice tags, yeah, tags. So submit. So you can see this is done and I've completed so everything now. So you can see here I've done complete all my tasks. So that is how I can be proceeding. If I want to move to the next, I can create, click on this create and enable again and proceed. So that is it. So for this, I can just close this private window. So I'm done. So that is it. Do you have any question?
I think we have a question in chat. Here was just one question from Andre. Is any home task? But I answered that we will share a Discord channel.
Okay.
The sense you provide and it was so descriptive. I'm sure everyone understands. I hope everything. And of course, this session was recorded and shared later at Discord channel.
Okay.
And
It's,
everyone should get credits, but main should use the same Google account which used to register at this session because it automatically added credits to this Google, exactly this Google account which was used to register to visit this session.
okay. Mr. Santos, do you have any inputs?
I think you covered it, Sahid. Thanks a lot for sharing the lab and helping them how to understand. Just trying to pick up one question, Gideon. I already have a skill boost account. Is that a problem? I think it should not be a problem, but if you feel like you need to have a different Gmail, then I think you can create one and just have it separate. Yeah, maybe. Any thoughts on that, Anna or Sahid?
Same
Okay.
account, yes.
Yeah, same account should be fine, right?
Yeah, should be fine, right?
Yeah.
And but if registered today, so it can take maybe one day. And should try
Hmm.
tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
okay. Biggest thanks everyone for joining, for your time, and that brings us to the end of today's session. And biggest thanks for your participation. It was really great to have you all here and. Saheed and Santosh, you share it. It was really amazing, exciting, understandable. So feel free to share any your questions at Discord channel. Also, we will share useful resources and links. From my side, I can ask you please share links which you used during this session, okay, at Discord channel. And if you have homework, so of course, yeah, list of labs which good to finish till the next session. So, okay, later I'll share link to this recorded session and see you next Saturday this time. Biggest thanks and have a nice rest of this weekend.
Yeah. See you, everyone. Thank you.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. I was expecting it on Discord. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.